The Mac Mini M1 has had amazing reviews since its launch, including my own experience in the last 4 months or so. Now, you might be focused on why the Mac Mini with the M1 chip might not be the one for you. In this video, I will explain on some reasons why I think you shouldn't buy the Mac Mini M1. Thank you for everyone that has hit that subscribe button. I appreciate you. If you're visiting the channel for the very first time, I'm Ryan, and this is the Elevate Project, to help professionals like you elevate your remote office with tech and be more confident and engaging delivering online presentations working from home. The M1 chip is the first generation of chipsets for Apple to steer away from Intel. This allows them to control the software and hardware to completely optimize performance. There has been speed results, speed tests against Intel-based Macs, and depending on the software, the M1 chip has proven to be blazing fast and faster in some, if not most, scenarios. I've created videos on the Mac Mini M1, including a 90-day review of my experience based on my workflow working from home and making YouTube videos like this one with 4K footage. To view those videos after this one, they'll be linked in the description below. So I wanted to make this video because I had some questions that were similar, specifically for different workflows and recognizing the limitations of the Mac Mini M1. So these are the reasons why I think you should skip the Mac Mini M1 in your search for a new computer. The very first reason, if your workflow requires or needs more than 2 displays, needing both displays to have a resolution to be higher than 4K. For example, you have 2 ProRes displays and you want to be able to run both at full 6K. The Mac Mini M1 is not for you. The limitation is the Mac Mini M1 can only provide up to 2 physical displays at the same time, one up to 6K and the second display up to 4K. Now, you might also have a workflow that requires multiple displays, more than 2, and need 3, 4, or even 5 displays, maybe for day trading, etc. Then again, the Mac Mini M1 is not for you. Second reason is software compatibility and being optimized for Apple's M1 chip. I personally mostly use Apple software like Final Cut Pro, Keynote, Safari, and I use most, if not all, the built-in apps like Mail, Calendar, and Notes. Specifically looking at Final Cut Pro, it is optimized for the M1 chip and is amazing in comparison to my older Intel-based MacBook Pro. If there is a software that isn't optimized for the M1 chip that you use regularly, it may still run, just not at the performance you might be wanting or expecting in a new computer. The worst is when you purchase a new computer and your older computer is running your main software slower and it's more buggy, making you less productive. Now, if you really rely on software that isn't optimized for M1, you might want to skip the Mac Mini M1 and look maybe at the Mac Studio or wait till the software is optimized. The third reason you might want to skip the Mac Mini M1 is RAM. The Mac Mini M1 is customizable only up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now, the unified RAM can only go so far, and again, this will depend on your workflow. 16 gigabytes of RAM may not be enough. You probably won't have any issues with performance and what the M1 can handle depending on what you're working on. But RAM might be your bottleneck for performance overall. If that is your case scenario, or you are worried that 16 gigabytes of RAM will not be enough for the amount of time you plan to own the Mac Mini M1, and you feel more comfortable with a minimum of 32 gigabytes of RAM for your new computer, skip the Mac Mini M1. The fourth reason is I/O. The Mac Mini M1 is limited to the amount of Thunderbolt ports, which they only have 2, and USB-A ports, again, only comes with 2. The Mac Mini M1 does have a 1 gigabit Ethernet jack that can be upgraded at the time of purchase to a 10 gigabit Ethernet port. You have an HDMI port, and you also have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. Reality, that is not a lot of I/O for a desktop computer. Thinking about a display, webcam, USB mic, or interface, external hard drive Maybe you need an SD card reader, and maybe more depending on what you need. Yes, there is the ability to purchase a dock or extra dongles at an extra cost. Depending on what you need, it might be better to skip the Mac Mini M1 and choose another Mac or other computer solutions. Lastly is upgradeability. The Mac Mini M1 versus some Mac Minis in the past were upgradable to a certain degree. The Mac Mini M1 might be perfect for you today, and the benefits of a desktop computer traditionally is simply the ability to upgrade the SSD or RAM. This isn't the case for the Mac Mini M1. Once you customize your Mac Mini at checkout, you are stuck with what you get: the SSD, RAM, chipset, Ethernet port. If you want a small amount of flexibility and want to upgrade certain things like the SSD on your own in the future, this might be the reason to skip the Mac Mini M1. Apple has kept the size factor, and the choice to have everything soldered into the motherboard has its advantages and disadvantages, and this is one of those disadvantages if you're looking to have that ability to upgrade. Now, these are the 5 reasons why I think you shouldn't buy the Mac Mini M1. The Mac Mini M1 is an amazing computer. It's blazing fast, but not necessarily the best tool for the job depending on your workflow and your needs. If you found value in this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing, and hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified when I upload a new video. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.